Did you know that in ancient Japan, there was a tradition where couples could exchange partners? This custom wasn't considered forbidden or immoral, but rather seen as a way to strengthen social bonds and create harmony within the community. Such practices, while surprising from a modern perspective, were part of a unique worldview that intertwined love, relationships, and even spirituality. In ancient Japan, marriage was rarely about romantic love. More often, it was a union arranged for political alliances, family status, or social necessity. Yet, even within these formal obligations, people found ways to express individuality. In some circles, particularly among the aristocracy or in remote villages, partner exchange was perceived not as a breach of loyalty, but as a means to explore human connections and experience new emotions. The roots of this tradition lie in the Japanese worldview, which placed a strong emphasis on harmony over individualism. Partner exchange wasn't a random or chaotic act. It was often accompanied by rituals and symbolic gestures. It was believed that such practices created a flow of energy, redistributing emotions among participants and strengthening collective unity. These exchanges often took place during festivals, moments when the boundaries of everyday life blurred, and participants could break free from social constraints. Shinto, Japan's traditional religion, is deeply connected to the forces of nature and the energy of life. According to some interpretations, communal practices, including those involving physical connection, were believed to align people with the rhythms of nature. Partner exchange could be seen as an extension of these principles, a way to dissolve personal boundaries for the sake of collective unity. Historical records and folklore provide glimpses of how these practices were carried out. During certain festivals, it was common for men and women to wear masks or assume different personas, temporarily obscuring their identities and allowing for greater freedom of interaction. This anonymity enabled individuals to form new connections, both emotional and physical. While this might seem libertine to modern sensibilities, the actions were guided by unspoken rules that ensured the social fabric remained intact. The Heian period 79–1185, an era of artistic and cultural flourishing, offers particularly intriguing examples. Among the aristocracy, relationships were often fluid, with men and women engaging in multiple partnerships simultaneously. Letters, poems, and diaries from this time reveal a sophisticated view of love and desire. Partner exchanges among nobles were often conducted with grace and discretion, seen as a way to deepen alliances and share beauty in its many forms. In rural communities, far from the bustling cities, the practice of exchange could take more open forms. In isolated villages, where survival depended on cohesion, sharing partners was viewed as a way to build trust and ensure the continuation of family lines. It also served practical purposes, such as redistributing resources or preserving family unity. Festivals played a crucial role in these traditions. Ancient Japanese festivals, or matsuri, often featured elements of playfulness, chaos, and freedom. During these events, strict societal norms were temporarily suspended, allowing participants to explore new dimensions of their relationships. Some festivals included rituals where couples would temporarily separate and mingle with others, often leading to new connections. This was not seen as betrayal, but rather as part of the festive spirit, a way to renew bonds and infuse relationships with fresh energy. Buddhist philosophy also likely influenced these practices. Buddhism, which became deeply rooted in Japanese culture, introduced the idea of impermanence, that everything in life, including relationships, is transient. This perspective may have encouraged a more fluid approach to partnerships, fostering acceptance of life as it is without clinging to fixed roles. Partner exchange, in this context, could be seen as an acknowledgement of life's fleeting nature. Japanese literature and art, particularly during the Edo period 1603 to 1868, often explored themes of love and desire with subtle symbolism. Kabuki theater and ukiyo-e woodblock prints depicted romantic intrigues, sometimes hinting at practices like partner exchange. While these works were fictional, they reflected broader cultural attitudes, where love and relationships were seen as complex and multifaceted. However, it's important to recognize that such traditions were not always free of societal constraints. Like any cultural practice, they were shaped by power dynamics and gender hierarchies. Women often had less freedom in choosing partners or participating in such rituals. While some accounts celebrate the openness of these customs, others suggest that they could reinforce existing inequalities. with men enjoying greater freedom than women to explore multiple relationships. By the late 19th century, as Japan modernized and adopted Western norms, many of these traditions disappeared. Victorian ideals of morality introduced stricter views on relationships, and partner exchange practices faded into folklore. Today, they are remembered as part of Japan's rich cultural heritage, offering insight into a time when love, community, and spirituality were deeply interconnected. These stories remind us that relationships have always been more than personal matters. They reflect culture, values, and humanity's quest for connection with the world around us. The traditions of ancient Japan show us that love is not only an expression of emotion, but also a bridge between the earthly and the divine.